Hello and welcome to this next video of SavePoint. In this video, we will provide a deep dive into budgeting within the SavePoint software. Budgeting is really at the core of SavePoint. It's the tool that helps you create a plan for your money so you can reach your financial goals. Now, this is going to be a comprehensive guide. We're going to briefly highlight the budget page, which you see here, and how to create your budget within SavePoint. We plan to breeze over the process itself, as this is largely identical to what we reviewed within the setup video. We'll then focus on some of the tools you can reference on how to track your budget outcomes. So with that said, let's dive in. To access the budget page, let's click the budget button on the left-hand sidebar. Currently, we're already in the budget page, but if you weren't here, you would click this button, and then this is the screen you would see. If you just finished the setup wizard, you'll also see your first budget is already here. So now let's do a quick tour of this screen. Up at the very top, the top right, here you'll see your budget year selector. This lets you easily switch between different budget years like 2024, 2025, and so on. Right below that, you've got three quick buttons. First, you have your help button, which opens the SavePoint program's help guide. Next to that, we have the import button module, which allows you to import multiple budget years at one time. This we'll go over in another video. And then lastly, we have a create a new budget button, which you can use to add a new budget one at a time. We'll go over this briefly later. Next up, below that, you'll find your main informational summary cards. These give you that high-level view of your budget. The first one we have is your total budgeted income. The next is your total budgeted expenses. Next up is your budgeted net savings or deficit, and mind you, these are annualized numbers. And then the last one is your current budget year view. Below some of these cards, you'll see a progress bar, which will also fill up along the way, showing how close or far away you are to your budgeted amount. And then finally, this page is broken up into two main sections. We have your income plan, where we'll list all of the money coming in, and then below that, your expense budget, which is a detailed category by category plan for all the money going out. And together, this captures your full budget. At the top of each table, you'll see there's a button that you can easily use to add individual income or expense categories to the budget year. Now, this will only add a category to that budget year in question, and you can only have one category of the same name. Using an existing category will show you the names of all the categories that you have used across all budget years. If you'd like to add one from another year for consistency, you can select from the full list, or you can create a new category directly by using this button here. So now we'll exit, but this just shows you very quickly how you can add a new income source or a new expense category. We also have a few other quick actions that we'd like to show you. First, we have in both the income plan and the expense category a delete button. And this is the trash can icon, and you can use this to delete a category that's not needed anymore. Next to that, we also have an edit button, which will allow you to edit your budget in the budget year that you have active. Usually we tend to leave our budget static and adjust in future years, but this feature is available to allow you to fine-tune at your pleasure. And also, you can choose to hide the subcategories in the expense table if you'd like. This will help you make the view a little bit less busy, so that's this button right here. Both tables otherwise contain the same information, including category name, monthly budgeted amount, which is the same for each month, annual budget, the actual income or expense, and the remaining budget. And by the way, similar if you have a lot of categories and don't want to have to scroll, you also have the ability to visit the settings page and enable a collapsible view of your budget categories. It'll look something like this once you have it enabled. This secondary view is nice. It allows you to collapse, and you don't need to scroll if you have a lot of categories. Now we will briefly go over how to add a budget. We went over this in the setup video, so we'll be a bit brief on the more detailed components here. You will need to create a new budget for each year that you use SavePoint. Only one budget can be created per calendar year. To create a new budget, we would click on the Create a New Budget button on the top right of the screen. This opens up a really simple form that you'll need to fill out. The very first option here is our fiscal year. This is the budget that you're budgeting for. Currently, this is set to 2026, but you can change it to anything that you'd like. Next to that is the budget name, which automatically changes as you change the budget year. So we're going to bring this back to 2026, and I'll also add that the budget name can be modified. It doesn't need to say Budget 2026. It can be anything that you'd like as well. Below this, we have the base currency. This is automatically set to the base currency you have selected within SavePoint. So for us, by default, this is the US dollar. Next up, below, we have the ability to choose our target spending goals. So these are divided up into needs, wants, and savings. For SavePoint, by default, we use the 50-30-20 rule. So our needs is 50%, wants is 30%, and savings is 20%. You can change these to anything that you'd like as long as the total adds up to 100. So now, before we click on Create Budget, there's one last thing to consider. We have a choice to start from scratch when we're creating our new budget. So that'll be exactly like when we went through the setup screen to set up our initial SavePoint account, or we can copy from an existing budget, such as 2025's budget. If we choose this option, like 2025 budget, the budget wizard will complete immediately. And this is a very useful feature that you can use at the end of the year when making your new budget. You don't need to start all over. The budget in this case will keep the same categories, the same income and expense numbers, exactly as you had them budgeted. Then you can fine tune in the budget management page, making small tweaks for inflation, any pay raises, or anything else that you consider to vary from the previous year's budget, ultimately saving you a ton of time. So for us, for this demo, we are going to copy from our existing 2025 budget. For us, I think this is important. You've already seen in our setup video how to create a budget from scratch. If you haven't seen that video, you can always go back and watch the setup video to see how to build a budget from scratch. So let's click on the 2025 budget and click Create. So now that we're done, the screen is automatically changed to the 2026 budget. If you go to the selector here, you'll see the ability to change to 2025, or we can click on 2026, and you'll notice in the blue card that the year changes when we view the new budget. So just very quickly, we're in 2026. If we wanted to make some changes, say to deposit interest, which is budgeted at $300, we can always change this to say $350 for this year. We can improve our income to $150 from $100, and we can update salary to $2,500. We'll also assume that some of the expenses are going up. So we'll say that our monthly budget for cable is going up to $75. Electricity is going up to $150. Furniture is staying the same, and we'll increase our rent to $1,700. And so again, we can navigate back between 2025 to see the difference. You can see that our total budgeted expenses were $22,440. And if we go to 2026, it's $25,740. And so with this, our budget is complete. It's completely saved, and you don't need to do anything else. If you do want to delete a budget year, we can visit the settings and delete a budget year entirely. So now that our budget is set up, the question is, how do we track our spending? So first, to do this, let's quickly add an expense to transactions for the purpose of this demo. We'll add a few salary entries and an entry for maybe cable and internet and rent for the month. So to do this, let's go to the transactions page, and we'll do this manually just for the purposes of this demo. So let's see here. We are going to make this on October 1st, and we're going to add our rent. And let's say it was $1,500 coming from our credit card. Or I'm sorry, this is rent. So let's go with our checking account, and we have a rent category. So you can see that we have an expense here of $1,500 for our rent. And we can add another for $10.05. And we can add electricity. And this will be to our credit card, our SavePoint card. And we'll hit save here. And let's add a couple of salary entries. Say the first of the month, salary. And we'll put this to our checking, and we'll say salary. And we'll do another to our salary. So this again was just very quick, very high level and example numbers. So we have total income of $2,000, total expenses of $1,550, and a net cash flow of $450. So now with that, we can go back to view our budget. So there's a few ways to actually view this. To view a budget, there are two very quick and useful tools to see your monthly income and expenses. First, the quickest way, short of visiting the dashboard, is to navigate to the budget page. So we're going to go back to the budget page. Here, we can see the actual spending in the tables itself. We're going to switch back to 2025 view. So again, we can see the actual spending in the tables itself. So let's scroll down. We added some rent, I believe. And so we have our budgeted rent, again, was $1,500. We'll hide the subcategory for now. So our budgeted rent was $1,500. Our annual rent was $18,000. And the actual that we had been charged was $1,500. And so again, in these tables, you have the ability to see the actual spending. And you can also see up top in the cards themselves that there has been some spending, and that's what the progress bar is down below, showing the actual income and the actual expenses. And again, these are annualized numbers at the top, while in the tables, we have the actual annualized amount compared to the monthly amounts and the annual amounts beside them. So to actually view some more granular information and gain some more actionable insights, we will visit the Cashflow Center. So not all of your bills are the same flat amount each month, right? Your electricity bill probably varies depending on the time of year, while some expenses like cable are likely relatively constant. The Cashflow Center allows you to drill down on individual income and expense categories to gain some insights on your income and spending. Here, the Cashflow Center also contains high-level information within the cards themselves and also within the tables that you see in front of you here. So we have the cards up top and the tables right below them. And, sorry, the cards are up top and we have the graphs right below them, and then we have the tables below that. And these provide some quick, useful information for you, such as your total income and expenses, overall within the period that you have selected. And so you can select the period up top. Right now it's 2025 and we have it set to all months, but you can drill down into individual months if you'd like. To get more detailed information on a particular category, let's find it in the table below and click in. Cashflow Center is very powerful as it allows you to drill down on individual categories and months to get more detailed information. So here we have our salary at $2,000. It was in October. So let's find it right here. And we're going to click in currently October 2025. So now that we've clicked in, we can see some more detailed information within the salary category for October 2025. And we can see some very key insights here. So we see the total amount spent in the key figures section. We can see the total amount that was spent, or in this case saved. Below that we see the transaction counts, and then below that we see the average amount. And the useful thing is right below this we have a budget progress bar. This allows you to compare to your actual budget. So we had budgeted 2,000, the actual was 2,000, so this entire bar is full. Below that, we have a view of individual transactions. So here you're able to see what the salary category was comprised of, and it was 2 entries, one on the 1st, one on the 15th. We didn't change the account for one of them, so we had the regular checking account one, and the other was a SavePoint checking. And there was $1,000 in each one. And then up top, we have insights. The insights are pretty cool, and they provide you with some recommendations and actual insights based on your actual spending. So we have a few here. One told us that we received $2,000 from salary over 2 payments. Your largest salary payment was $1,000 on October 15th. The next one is our salaries on target compared to the budget. So we've earned basically the same amount compared to our budget. This would change if we were under budget or over budget. So if this income continues at the same rate, we'll earn approximately $24,000 in salary this year, and that's correct. A few other features to consider. We have the ability to change the time period that we're reviewing salary, the month as well. So we can view this over 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or a custom time period, specific months. You can search for individual transactions here or export directly as well. So with this, we've covered many of the core features of budgeting. To take an even more in-depth analysis, you can also visit the reports page within SavePoint to view some breakdowns of your budget, such as category analysis reports that shows exactly where you're over or under spending, among other reports, to have the ability to provide a full financial picture for yourself. And so with that all said, I just want to leave you, before we wrap up today, with a few quick tips to be successful using SavePoint and managing your budget. First, I'd like to say, when setting up your budget, be realistic. We recommend looking at your last 6 to 12 months of actual income and actual expenses and use this as a starting place to set your budget. The budget in SavePoint is set up as monthly. So if your spending or income varies throughout the year, consider taking the average amount over the course of 12 months and then use this as your monthly amount. Next, review your budget monthly. Take a look at how you did and consider adjusting next month based on what you learned. We also recommend building in some flexibility within your budget, either create a miscellaneous spending category or add some breathing room into your numbers. So with SavePoint, we do hope to provide a flexible resource to allow you to take complete control of your financial situation. Do celebrate your wins and consider that a checkpoint before you advance to the next level. Now that you know how to set up and view your budget and use some of the advanced features within SavePoint, you can begin to use SavePoint in earnest. For any additional questions, we recommend reviewing our help guide within the program itself, on our website, and through our support channels. With that, thank you for watching.